Hello and good morning, ladies. We are going to get right in talking about three uncomfortable skills your tween needs to learn on their journey to independence. Three skills they need to learn on their journey to independence. Now, the good news is you can help your tween learn them even if you don't feel like you've mastered them yourself. When we start talking about them, you might think, I don't even know how to do that. I hate doing that. I'm not good at that. How could I teach my kid? I feel like a hypocrite because I feel like I should be better before I'm teaching them. No, you can teach your kids how to do this. And you can also get support. Part of it is knowing what skills our tweens need, the things that we're weak in, we can get help on, we can join them in this journey. I'm Marina Gabor, educator, homeschooling mom of 3 teenage daughters, and creator of Tween Talk, this empowering moms to raise independent kids. Welcome to this group if it's your first time. I love helping tweens learn the skills that help them become independent. And I love coaching moms just like you to parent through those challenging tween years. I am so glad you are here. By the end of our time together today, you're going to have a few practical ways that you can help your tween start learning these uncomfortable skills, even if they're not your superpower. These are easy things. They're not going to take a whole ton of time out of your day. It's just a little bit of a mindset shift, a little bit of a rethinking, a little bit of intentionality. So at the end, I will share how you can get on the wait list, get your tween on the wait list for the Life Skills Lab. And that is a way that I can support both you and your tween as they are learning these skills and more. So let's play a quick game of Would You Rather? Would you rather try to resolve a conflict with your tween or pull out your toenails? I know, ridiculous. Obviously not a real question. But if you said pull out your toenails because you hate the conflict, you're in the right place. If you are joining live, in the chat below, please type #live. Welcome. I'd love to say hello to you, that you are here. And if you are joining on the replay, welcome. I do look at comments that come in on the replay and am happy and delighted to connect with you after the fact. So let's dive right in. Let's get this going here. The first uncomfortable skill. First uncomfortable skill, public speaking. Public speaking. If you love public speaking, fabulous. If you're great at it, great. You may be able to pass some of that on to your tween or encourage them in their public speaking. If this is not something that you're comfortable with, don't worry. I've got a little way that you can help your tween with it, and it will help you too. So when one of my daughters was old enough to get a job, so just coming out of those tween years, but we had spent some time working on public speaking in various ways during the tween years, which made this next thing possible. I strongly encouraged her to apply at Dairy Queen because even though we had done some public speaking stuff, they had done some 4-H public speaking, and I had made them watch some public speaking homeschool curriculum kind of things, I knew she needed to get around other people and have someone else for a boss. She was also shy, quiet, and the customer service aspect was difficult. But between that and Gavel Club, which your kids can join when they're in their tweens, like in their later tweens, which is a Toastmasters youth leadership program kind of thing. So with constantly practicing those skills in her role at Dairy Queen, she was able to overcome her fear of public speaking, so much so that she's a supervisor there now. Never would have happened if we had not been working on these public speaking skills. And, she also took some initiative to improve there too. So it's not all on you, Mom. You can initiate it, you can get them going, but at some point, your tween has to take hold of that and own it. Own the desire to learn the skill with a little bit of external help from you. Now, before we jump into the next thing, let's talk about a simple thing you can do at home regularly that is going to help your tween develop their public speaking skills. Actually, two things. The first one is doing table topics or on the spot. And you can purchase, let me see if I can just find them here, a box of cards that look like this. I think they're a little bit overpriced on Amazon. This is not an affiliate thing or anything, but they're a bunch of cards and they have a question on them. This one, if money were no object, what kind of party would you throw? So the idea is you have questions, or you can go online and search table topics and come up with a list. The idea is it's a topic that you weren't necessarily thinking about. And then you put a timer on. So grab your phone. Everybody's got a phone. Grab your phone, put the timer on for 2 minutes. That's the maximum amount of time. So kids love an endpoint. Adults love an endpoint. People love to know that their public speaking time is going to come to an end. It makes it less intimidating. Then they talk about that topic for as long as they can, up till 2 minutes. Now, initially, they will ramble and carry on and not really know what to say, and there'll be lots of giggling and like, oh, I don't know. Persist. I encourage you, keep going. It's okay. If they're getting too discouraged, move on. Try again the next time. Have it as a dinner activity, just a regular dinner activity. Everybody can participate, you included. And eventually you can start adding a little bit of structure to that 2 minute on the spot. Start with the main idea, expand it a little bit, come to a conclusion. What they'll also do by doing that is start clarifying their thinking. They'll be clearer thinkers. And this comes in helpful for the next thing. So when you are introducing your kids to other adults, expect that they will answer the questions that the adult has for them. You're not answering for them. This is kind of a little bit of an on the spot. What are you doing right now? What are you going to do when you're grown up? Whatever questions adults like to ask tweens to put them on the spot. When they have practiced these miniature public speaking things at home, in the safety of home, where you love on your tween, and you're like, yes, we're just working on this, improving. It's a safe place to practice. Then when they're doing that out with other people, they will be able to draw on that confidence that they got at home and present themselves well. Another way that they can practice that public speaking, that my daughters tell me they see this quite often now. A tween will come in with their parents or grandparents to the restaurant. Remember the daughters I said were working at Dairy Queen? Yeah. And the tween will whisper, I'd like a cheeseburger, to the parent. And then the parent will say, we'll get a cheeseburger. Well, instead, encourage your tween to order for themselves. Takes a little bit of confidence. They have to project their voice. There's all the beeping and buzzing and carrying on that happens in a fast food restaurant. So they need to project their voice, state what they would like. And initially, they might be quite shy about it, but persist. It is a life skill, which means it just needs to be taught and practiced. All right, so there are some practical ways you can do the table topics. You can have them practice introducing themselves or answering questions when you are with other adults, and finally get them to order at restaurants for themselves. Now, for number 2, let me get number 2 up here. Conflict resolution. Whew. Okay. So not only are we saying, yes, teach public speaking, which may be uncomfortable. Now we're saying conflict resolution. Depending what conflict resolution looked like in the home that you were growing up, this may be challenging. The house that I grew up in, there was no conflict resolution because there was no conflict, meaning everything was kind of just shoved under the rug, smoothed over. It's not healthy. Conflict can be a good thing. It can be a positive thing. And it's how we grow and develop. I'm not talking like fighting, angry, carrying on. I'm talking about 2 different opinions and how do we work to resolve that situation so we can move forward. Now, having said that, I also want to say that you are still the parent. So at some point, your tween might be saying, oh, I really want to do this. And you're like, that's not what we do in this family. And I'm the parent. And sometimes that's how it is. But as they are growing and developing, part of this pulling away, this becoming independent, means that there is going to be some conflict because they are not you. You're going to have differences of opinions. Don't have to tell you that. I'm sure you figured that out already. But that's why we need to learn how to resolve the conflicts, because if done poorly, relationships break down instead of become stronger. So it is possible. Now, you as the mature adult, and I remember having to tell myself, I am the parent in this situation, not on a big power trip, but just as a reminder, that is the role that I have been given. I am my daughter's parent, their mother, and it is my job to help them on this journey to independence so that they can eventually become independent, productive, good members of society, and so on. So right now, in this conflict resolution situation, you need to be the mature adult. You need to take the lead because your kid does not know how to manage conflict. And even if you think, I don't know how to manage conflict, I didn't grow up learning how to manage conflict either, you can learn too. It'll be messy. You'll figure it out. The main thing is you keep moving forward. So 5 things. Number 1, remember you are on the same team. Your tween wants to hear what you have to say. They want to be connected to you, and you want to be connected to them. But they also want to be independent, and you want them to be independent. So instead of thinking like this, head to head, think side to side. We're going in the same direction. And as soon as you think about we're going in the same direction, you've saved the relationship because now you can rethink how you're going to get to whatever outcome you need to get to. Number 2, avoid threats or power moves that help you win by positional power, meaning the whole do this because I told you so, and never mind, we're not talking about this. That doesn't cut it. You're using your positional power as the parent to just put your thumb on your tween and not have a chance to listen. Even if you would still say no, and often you'll still say no, even at the end, even if that's how you resolve it. But it's how you get to that outcome. So if you just shut them down, say no, don't listen, in the short term, you'll accomplish your goal, but you will have fractured the relationship. So instead, we want to listen and talk through, okay, where are you coming from? What is your position? Because sometimes the things they do don't make sense. Their brain is still developing. It makes sense to them. So hear them out. See why it makes sense to them. And then show them, well, this is the other perspective. This is why I'm saying no. And I see where you're coming from, but the answer is still no. Number 3, what is the real issue? We want to dig deep and find that real issue. What is the real issue? Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes there's no deeper issue. It's just, I want to go to the mall with my friends. And you say, I don't think you're ready to do that because whatever happened previously to make you think that they're not ready for that. When the real issue might be, I want to feel like I belong. I want to feel like I'm connected to something that I fit in, that I am part of something. That might be the real issue. So dig deeper and then see if you can address that real issue in a way that might be more appropriate for where they are at developmentally. Number 4, look at the facts. Look at the facts. It can be easy to just be super emotional. And tweens have a way of pressing your big red button that is like, oh, why did you have to say it like that? Like it just like gets you all worked up. But if beforehand you have decided on what you will and won't do, then when they press that big red button, you can go, whew, yeah, this makes me totally mad, but we've decided about this before. Try to look at the situation from both sides. What are the actual facts? Not looking through the filter of what you think is happening, but what is actually happening. That will help you as you're trying to resolve the conflict. And number 5, remember that your tween wants to be heard. They want to know what you think. They want to know your opinion. They want your help, but they also want to pull away and have this independence. So as you're resolving this conflict, spend time listening. They want to be heard, and often that will help diffuse a situation so you can talk it through. And as they are growing and maturing, what's really cool is you are going to see how their life experiences are shaping them, and they start to make better decisions as they have your input and they're borrowing your life experience plus their life experience, and they're combining those to come up with new ideas, new solutions to problems, and you'll see better decisions coming out of that as you let them make those choices, as you resolve conflict, and then next time they know, oh, okay, that didn't work out so well, I'm going to try this. And as their brain continues to develop, it is exciting to see this growth and maturity. Super exciting. So, this is something that you can teach your tween through role play. Please do not try to teach conflict resolution in the middle of a conflict. It won't work. Okay, that's a strong statement. If it has worked for you, great. It has never worked for me. In fact, it's usually escalated things because then it comes across as a mom power play instead of a I'm listening and we're trying to resolve this conflict. So just know you will have conflict. So do some role play, or when you see conflict elsewhere, talk it through. And also practice resolving small issues. So if conflict resolution is just part of how you roll, you keep short accounts. So there's a problem, you wrestle it out, you work it out, you say, I actually would like to hear what you have to say, and then actually consider it. But then also let them know when they don't have a choice about something, when it's just, this is what we're doing. So that when you're having a conflict, they know, okay, well, is this worth chewing out or chewing through this situation? Like, will I actually, is there a possibility of coming to get what I want if we talk it through? So work through smaller situations. So when the big conflicts arise, they know that you're still going to love them, that you're going to listen to them, and you're going to see them through to the other side, and your relationship is still going to be intact. Which leads us to the third uncomfortable skill that we need to teach our tweens. Third skill, here we go. Empathy. So far we've had public speaking, conflict resolution. Now we have empathy. We're just thinking, oh my goodness, how am I going to teach my kid all of these things? But remember, they can be done in the course of daily life. We just need to be intentional. When I teach the babysitting course, we talk about empathy a lot because it's a skill that doesn't come naturally to tweens. That's the time of their life where they are looking inward. They are trying to figure out themselves, and everything seems to be about them. Developmentally, that is normal. So when we're teaching empathy, it's pulling away from looking in all the time and looking out and thinking about others a little bit. So just because they're naturally trying to look inward a lot doesn't mean that we shouldn't be teaching this. It will help them with conflict resolution if they have empathy, because they'll be able to see things from other people's perspective. So that will help. Also, it will help them when they're public speaking or speaking in public. You know, they, again, putting themselves in other people's shoes, trying to make the other person feel comfortable. And they can do that when they're public speaking if they are more empathetic. In the babysitting course, we talk specifically about like how a mom feels when she's leaving her kids home with the babysitter for the first time. And how you as the babysitter, how can you make the mom feel good about leaving their kid at home with you? How can you make them instill confidence that you've got it under control, you're going to take care of their precious children, and it's going to be good? So then these young babysitters start thinking, oh, that's why it matters that I show up on time. That's why it matters that I would ask these questions. The mom's going to feel way more confident leaving me with her kids if she feels like I can handle things. Now, what about when the mom comes home? How can a babysitter, using empathy, how can she create a better experience for that mom coming home? And it's super excited to see students' faces light up as their minds are open to this idea that, oh, It doesn't take much to make somebody's day, to put myself in their shoes, think about it for a second, and then do an action that's going to make a difference in somebody else's life. For example, when the mom comes home, what if you spent like 2 minutes before she came home and you cleaned up the entryway? And now it's tidy. It's not like shining, spotless, washed floors, like whole house cleaning thing. It's just tidy. So then the mom comes home from work, whatever that, where the mom has been, and she's tired. And she comes in the door and it's restful coming in. And students start to see, wow, like I can spend 10 or 15 minutes doing a quick tidy before the mom comes home. The mom is going to feel great, and I'm going to get more work. So there's this learning how to be empathetic, learning how to put yourself in other people's shoes. And then it does also benefit them. Now, how do we teach tweens empathy? It's not all because, well, if I do this, then I'm going to get this. Teaching empathy just helps you be a better friend and a better person overall. You can put yourself in people's shoes. How can we teach it? How, as moms, can we not add more stuff to our plate and still help our tweens become more empathetic? It's a process. It just requires being aware of what's happening around you and putting yourself in somebody else's shoes and then talking about it with your tween. For example, if you ever go to Walmart can be a very busy place, lots of moms with young kids. And often enough, you'll see a toddler having a complete meltdown. Normal for a toddler that's not getting their own way. And often it's a tired young mom, toddler having a meltdown, a couple other kids in tow. Now, this is a great opportunity for you to talk to your tweens and say, wow, how do you think that mom must feel? And just have a quick conversation about how they would feel. And then over time, your tween will start saying, oh, I wonder how that must be difficult. It also leads to compassion, to kindness. These are the things we want for our tweens. These are the things we can intentionally teach. So these 3 uncomfortable skills, public speaking, conflict resolution, and empathy, they're going to make their lives better, and it's going to make your life better. But first, we need to teach these difficult skills, uncomfortable skills. It's kind of like choose your hard. Either it's going to be hard living with an not empathetic tween who doesn't know how to resolve conflict and just has no public speaking skills. That's hard. It's also hard to be intentional and teach your kid these things. Choose your hard. But that is why I've got help on the way in the form of the Life Skills Lab. It's a place for tweens to role play and discuss life situations, learn some life skills like these that are critical, but sometimes get lost in the shuffle of busy home life. It'll only be $9 a month for the life skills training and support for your tween. So if you're interested, type waitlist in the chat. I'll make sure you are the first to know as soon as doors open. Until next time, spend some time getting to know your tween.